Some people have been asking me about the education reform. There was a committee which was headed by Honorable Manyam Shega, which came up with a report which recommended the abolition of primary leaving exams. It is something I've been talking about all along. The reason why I feel that this should be this way is our education system has got primary school, O-level, A-level, and then the university. And my arguments are that this is a prescription for locking out the majority of people, because at every stage you are seething, you are saying you can't proceed, and the consequence is you are creating a large class of illiterate people. I believe that I think 2006 or 2007, 1.7 million children entered primary one, and about 40% completed. So you have over 1 million people who didn't complete. So if you take it from 2013, that there have been over 1 million people who didn't complete, by now you have over 10 million people who have not actually completed primary 7. They didn't go up that level. Now, what are you dealing with? You're dealing with two situations here. One, people failing to actually complete, and yet there is the universal primary education. And two, you are dealing with that small number, less than 40%, who complete, but not all of them proceed to secondary level. And this adds to that huge number of people who don't complete. These people are going to be semi-literate. In fact, some of them may be completely illiterate because maybe they didn't move beyond P1 or P2. So the challenge you have is, one, to keep these kids in school, possibly after age 18, and two, to remove those roadblocks in terms of the primary leaving exam. They don't serve a purpose. O level, let's have exams maybe at the end of it all. And I have been saying, let us have standard 1 to standard 12. So if somebody enters at age 6, does 12 years, that person will be 18 years old. Because the consequences of children not completing not completing primary school is that they're about 13, 14 years old. And most likely, if they are girls, they'll be married off in a decent manner. If they are in suburban areas, most likely they'll become pregnant, unwanted pregnancies. It is not surprising that you're going to find young girls, 28, 30 years old, they are grandmothers. Their own children have also delivered babies, and usually in very difficult circumstances. These are people who the parents, the fathers, are also not very well educated, maybe have no income. So the consequence of the current system is that you have a large number of people who drop out at different levels. Two, you have these young people who leave and get pregnant, unwanted pregnancies, or they are married off, and you are perpetuating poverty in these families. And three, those who leave, Ugandans are very entrepreneurial. Those who leave and want to start business, and indeed many of them start businesses. If you go out into the markets, if you go out on the streets, you're going to find a large number of people who are starting businesses. But because of the level of education, the type of business they start is not highly technological, not very competitive on a global level. So they are likely to be the type who are selling old clothes or a bit of matoke here. You will find somebody with 10 shirts. I mean, you can never succeed selling 10 shirts in 1 month. So this is the challenge. So to me, let's keep 12 years of standard 1, standard 12. Within that time period, the continuous assessment should enable us to identify the abilities of a young person, so that the energy of this person can be directed into certain field. So the concept of career guidance should start possibly by the time they are 12 years old. They start knowing what are the different careers. We've seen here something coming up on TikTok, what the Chinese kids in nursery are doing. They're dealing with machines. They're dealing with pulleys and those engineering things. Well, we can't afford that for the time being, but I'm sure we can afford to give skills to our young people at the different levels in the education system, so that by the time they are about 16 years old, we now know that this one will go into science, this one will go into engineering, this one will go into law, through the continuous assessment, abilities, and passion. But it's not a simple thing like I'm talking about it. It involves a lot of planning. It involves a lot of thinking through to see that how do you overcome. For instance, you can't wake up in the morning and say, fine, you've abandoned, you've got rid of PLE. What do you do next? Children should stay in the same school throughout. So there's need to combine those schools. But today, with the private school system, somebody is in primary school somewhere, goes to another secondary school somewhere. So these will be evened out because the people who are in school today are a minority. You need to work for the majority. You need to work for that huge number of people so that those people can be able to transform their lives through the educational system. So it's not a simple thing. It's something to think through very well. It's something for government to be able to find the resources to do it. Ensure that UPE and USE are merged together and the funds are going out to do the right thing, which is educate people for purposes of social economic transformation.